Let us begin today by getting straight to the point and from bringing Mr. Amit Shah down from the virtual world and let us bring him to reality. Because we really think he was literally in the virtual world. Otherwise, he would have told us, has China made any incursion into Indian territory? Yes, no. He said nothing about it. He could have told us, before the lockdown, how many chief ministers did you consult? How the lockdown has failed. 550 cases when you announced the lockdown. Now 2.8 lakh cases. West Bengal government and Mamata Banerjee cooperated with you fully. But from 5, you've gone now to 2.8. What's the plan going forward? You didn't have a plan going into lockdown. What's the government's plan going forward? Our fourth question. Who was the first chief minister to write to 18 chief ministers? And let me add to that. What was the subject of that letter written by the Bengal chief minister to 18 chief ministers? Migrant labor. Our next question, which Mr. Amit Shah didn't answer because there was so much of rhetoric. You gave your MPs and everybody else 2 days notice to take the planes back to their constituencies. How much time did you give the migrant workers to book their train tickets? 4 hours. We have a former railway minister here with me today, my colleague Dinesh Bhai, and Dr. Mitra is also here. So we want to ask the central government, who runs the Indian Railways? You abandoned migrant workers for 50 days. We had suggested, practical suggestion, that if you ran those trains, even with social distancing, you could have taken 30 million in 5 days. Who robbed the migrant workers of their dignity? Who packed migrant workers in trains like cattle without adequate food? Mr. Amit Shah didn't tell us not a word about the 80 precious lives we lost because of zero planning by Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah. So virtual is virtual, but this is the harsh reality. The reality is also Mr. Amit Shah in his virtual press conference or his virtual interaction with the BJP workers forgot to tell everybody which state announced free rations for 6 months per state, mid-March, so no one went hungry. Which chief minister announced a 10 lakh insurance for frontline workers fighting COVID? No answers from the virtual world. Some more reality. Mr. Amit Shah said, Hisab do. Yes, Hisab do ji. What are you doing to create jobs? What are you doing when India's unemployment rate is 23.5%? And my state, Bengal, had a low of 17.4%. Finance Minister of Bengal and my colleague from Trinamool will fill you in more with numbers when I finish these opening remarks. For Cyclone Amphan, the state government gave 6,250 crores already given. Done. You have promised money. The money is 1,02,000 crores is the 1.02 lakh crores is the total relief package which is needed for the destruction and the devastation. We've received 1,000 crores. Correct. We acknowledge that. We have received 1,000 crores. You minus from 1,02,000, you're left with 1.01. Mr. Amit Shah forgot to mention that the Mamata Banerjee government had given 20,000 each to 5 lakh families who had their homes destroyed. We've said this before, let us say it again. 53,000 crores. Why didn't Mr. Amit Shah tell us Were we giving some wrong breakup? Was the Trinamool Congress or the Finance Minister of Bengal in his press conferences, or we when we did ours, were we juggling some figures? Here are the figures. Challenge these figures. 53,000 crores. 36,000 crores owed to Bengal from centrally sponsored schemes. Devolution of funds, 11,000 crores. Food subsidy, 3,000 crores. GST last 2 months, about 3,000 crores. Yes, you have cleared the GST now for the last year, December, January, February. So 53,000 crores is a figure. We're saying this publicly. Challenge these figures. And what were you doing creating jobs? Politics you were doing, but what were you doing creating jobs, Mr. Amit Shah? Unemployment rate, I told you, 23.5 national, Bengal 17.4. RBI has said the Indian economy is expected to contract for the first time in 41 years. We had made so many suggestions. The chairperson of the All India Trinamool Congress had suggested you put 10,000 rupees into the bank account of unorganized sector workers or migrant workers also. Also, you could take the money from the MP-led funds and generate 8,000, 10,000 crores. We're not asking you about PM Cares because that is your PM private limited company.